Hello guys, and welcome back to Cleaning with Heather Lee. Today we're not doing too much cleaning during the summer months. We'll mostly just be putting out garden and preserving content. Maybe some cleaning in between. But today we are going to pickle up some end of the year garden pickles. This is going to be a mix between cucumbers, and I have carrots here on the bottom of this bowl. So this recipe that I'm following today comes from the USDA National Canning and Preserving, and I made a quick brine over here with just vinegar, water, salt, and sugar. This necessarily isn't going to be a how-to, it's just going to be a preserve with me. So like I said, the recipe is online for the National Canning and Preserving Center. So I already have my jars washed up. I did that last night, and I placed them in my water bath canner. They're in hot water, so the jars are heated. My brine is heated. It is very, very important when you're canning that your temperatures match. So it will be a raw pack, though. I will not be putting my pickles or carrots in the brine. However, I believe the recipe does suggest to. I'm altering from that just a little bit, just for my preference. But if you're new at canning, I would suggest following your recipe. So just, you can can and make your own rules in your kitchen, and if you feel safe doing so, then by all means do so. So we're gonna get started. So I have my jars, like I said, over here in the water bath canner. I'm gonna pull one out at a time. I'm gonna place one bay leaf in each jar, a teaspoon of mustard seed, and half a teaspoon of celery seed. And I'll pack that into the jars and get the pickles and carrots packed in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and we'll I believe this canner holds 7 jars. I have 2 reserved if I need more jars. So I have 2 jars set aside. So we're going to just go ahead and get started. Okay, so I did go ahead and separate my carrots. My carrots are in this bowl, and my cucumbers are in this bowl. I do have a lot more cucumbers, I'm sorry, than I do carrots. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with one jar. And like I said, I'll just do each jar individually. So I'll show you one jar, and then I'll bring you back after we get all of the jars. Oops. That's just a little much. Okay. Now I am going to mix these jars up. This just might be an experiment. It may work. But I was originally going to do them separate. I thought, no, I'll just do some jars combined and see how they turn out. I mean, it can't hurt nothing. They've got plenty enough vinegar in them to make them safe and be stable for the shelf. So I'm gonna pack that pretty tight. Now when we do this, so this is how the jar is looking. And it's just a mix of cucumbers and pickles. Now I'm gonna ladle the brine into the jar. Find my ladle here. Okay. I'm gonna dip this in my hot water. So my brine is going to go up to, let me push some of these carrots down so they're under the water. Break that one off because it's sticking up too much. So my brine is going to go to 1/4 head space. Okay. So I need to debubble. Let me find my debubbling tool and I will be right back. Okay, so I can't find my debubble tool. I thought I brought it up, but it must still be in the basement. Anyhow, I'm going to use this plastic spoon, and now it is recommended that you don't use any metallic utensils, you know, like a butter knife or anything like that. So wooden or plastic is just fine. And you're going to take it down here and you're going to just go around the edge of the jar here and try to get as much air bubbles as you can out, and you can tap it because these are packed tightly, so it's just a little, could be a little difficult to get this down in here. Okay, so that should be good. So now we're going to wipe the rim because this brine does have sugar in it. And we don't want that sugar to inhibit the seal when we put the lid on here. This here needs to go down some. We'll just snap it off. And make sure all your veggies are under the surface of the brine. Okay. Let me grab one of my flats. And I'll place that right on here. And then we need a lid, a ring. And turn that down. Now, this is ready for the hot water bath. If I can get it in there. Let me take out one of these other jars first. Make me some room. I don't want to crack none of my jars. And if any of you are canners, okay, so I have all of my jars jarred up, and this is how they turned out. And I had to do the last one with just solid pickles because we didn't have enough, but this is the one with the pickles and the carrots. Okay. So now we're going to put these in the water bath canner. I did adjust the temperature on my water bath canner because as I was jarring them, of course, the longer they sat here, the cooler they got, the jars got. So the water, now I had to add some cold water to my water bath canner. Off camera, I did that right before I brought you guys back on. So this is this is one of my smaller water baths, so it will be, let me pull it up to get the last one. It will be a bit tricky to get all these because they are wide mouths, but they will fit. And it looks like I have a little bit too much water in here, so I'm going to dump some of that off. Probably just use this. I'm only supposed to have about an inch or two over your product line. I'm just going to dump it, it'll be easier. I'm going to tilt it too much. Okay, that's about good. So I will bring you into the pot. So our jars are all loaded up with just an inch or so of water over the top of the jars. And I'm going to turn the burner up, and when these come to a boil, a rolling boil, I will bring you back and we will start the timer. So I was talking in this clip, but the kids were getting a little loud in the background, so I'll just do a voiceover. I was trying to get the kitchen cleaned up while we were waiting for the jars of pickled veggies to get done. So I was saying here that the house can get a little bit messy when you're doing one of these canning projects, and it's worth it. To me, it's worth it. It's worth the extra effort, the time, and the mess, because I know that I grew the cucumbers and the carrots, and I know what went into that. So to me, canning is worth the mess and the cleanup. So I don't know about you guys, but every time I wash the dishes, I have to make sure my sink is clean as well. And as you can tell, I was struggling with that power wash. It kept falling into the sink. So everything is done. The pot there had to soak for a little more because my eldest daughter made eggs this morning, and I guess she got them stuck to the bottom of the pan. So that pan will sit there and soak. And here is the humongous pile of dishes that were there for me to wash. Alright, so our water bath canner isn't quite up to a boil yet. So I have some leftover brine here in my pot. And I'm just going to dump it in this clean quart jar. And I'll pop that in the refrigerator. And we can, when I pull the pickles from the garden, we could just make some refrigerator pickles or whatever. You can get a little bit more in there. Well, you know what? I don't want to fill it up too much because the product ain't in there yet. Yep, making some dishes. Okay, our timer has gone off. I'm completely out of here. Okay. Now we will let these sit on the counter for 12 to 24 hours and wipe off the lids. We will take the rims off and we will write on here with Sharpie what's the day was that we canned it and what is canned inside. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you guys for coming by to watch me in the kitchen and do a few chores around the house. And I will catch you in the next video. Thanks.